You're listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show with your hosts, the Fantasy Insider, Matt Brick, the Commish, Henry Brick, and the Doctor, Jeff Hathcock. Good evening, everyone. You are listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football. We got Week 12 coming up. We just had Week 11. I'm here with my co-host, Henry the Commish Brick, and Jeff Hathcock. We wish him very well. He's currently having his baby, so hope all is well there for Jeff there.
Yes, hopefully bringing another fantasy football little baby doctor into the world. I think it's a man-child. I think that's what he told me. But we wish the very best for him and his wife, and everything goes wonderfully and beautifully. And we'll just carry on the show tonight without him, but he's with us in spirit.
That is correct. All right. Well, let's start straight up with the news. A lot of injuries again, unfortunately, and suspension. We have Jamar Chase suspended one game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. So there's that. Michael Penix Jr. is out for the season with a torn ACL. Drake London is week to week with the PCL sprain. Dylan Gabriel was ruled out and evaluated for a concussion. Josh Jacobs is considered to be week to week. No structural damage to his knee. Kamani Vidal did not return with a thigh injury. Aaron Rodgers has a slight break in his left wrist. Jalen Warren left the game with an ankle injury. Calvin Ridley broke his fibula and is now out for the season. So best to him there for a speedy recovery. And Chamiri Dyke, however you pronounce it, was ruled out with a concussion. This week is week 12. The teams that are on a bye this week, we have 4. The Denver Broncos, you have the Chargers, Dolphins, and Commanders all on a bye this week. So you're not going to want to start players on those teams because they're not playing this week. You're going to get 0 if they're in your lineup. So, all right, let's get rolling here with some stardom. Commish, why don't you go first?
All right. Off the bat, I'm going to go Jared Goff. Must start playing the Giants. He's coming off one of his worst performances of the season. He completed just 14 passes, 14 of 37 passes against our beloved Birds last week. But this week, he's home in his safe place, the Dome, and he's playing the New York Giants, who give up the second most fantasy points to the quarterback. So I think we'll see a big bounce back week for one Jared Goff. So he's a must start for sure. Sean Tucker, who I did say pick him up last week, by the way. He goes up against the Rams. I know it's not like a great matchup, but look, he's coming off a 21 carry, 140-yard game versus the Bills, and he is certainly the hot hand, especially with Bucky Irving still on the shelf. He may return this week, he may not. Even if he does, I still like Tucker because I don't see them bring Bucky Irving back full tilt to start anything. And they're playing the Rams. They just let up 67 yards and a touchdown to one Ken Dog Walker last week. So Sean Tucker, I think, is an excellent start this week. Michael Wilson, another big name, had a big game last week. He's clearly Jacoby Brissett's go-to guy. With Marvin Harrison now, I think he had an appendectomy. So he just put up 15 catches for $185 versus the Niners, and he should continue to produce against the Jags this week. So I don't think we see Harrison again. So Wilson, I think you should definitely get in your lineup for sure. And here's a name, a blast from weeks past, Hunter Henry. He has not put up double digits since week 4. So I think many fantasy owners have totally shied away with this guy. Well, guess what? This week he goes up against the Bengals, who allow the most fantasy points to the tight end. So they've surrendered 12 touchdowns this year. I think Hunter Henry definitely gets back into the groove and into our fantasy graces this week. So that's why I have for my starts of the week. Matt, who do you got?
All right, so this week, this one is not as surprising because it's Drake May. I consider him a must start this week. I know he lacked in fantasy points last week on Thursday Night Football against the Jets. That's because they ran the ball so much. This week, I think May will light it up against the poor Bengals pass defense. They've allowed 242 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is 31st in the NFL, and an average of 24.2 points per game. I expect Drake May to have a big game and to continue to dominate this league right now. They're really hot. Next, I have Ken Dog Walker, aka Ken Walker. He is a great start this week. Goes up against the Titans, who have a terrible rush defense. They've allowed 204 fantasy points against the running back, which is 30th in the league and 20.4 points per game. Ken Walker has an excellent matchup this week, and you're going to want to start him. Next, you're going to want to start Eagles wide receivers. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith will be fed the ball against Dallas. I think this game, the Eagles offense finally wakes up and performs like they did against the Vikings. Dallas is still the worst team against the wide receiver, allowing 253 fantasy points and 25.3 fantasy points, which is an average to wide receivers per game. And the wide receivers will eat against Dallas. So and don't forget about Jahan Dotson. You never know. He might get a few balls. So lastly, I have Alvin Kamara, who goes up against the Falcons this week. Atlanta has allowed 193 fantasy points to running backs, which is 27th in the league, and 19.3 fantasy points per game. I like this matchup for Alvin Kamara. So those are the guys I have to start this week. So we'll go straight into who to sit. I'll go. I'll start this one out. Why not? All right. So this week, this one's again probably not as surprising, but you're going to want to sit Geno Smith. Last night's game showed you how absolutely terrible this Chip Kelly offense is. More importantly, the Raiders play the Browns this week, who have allowed 153 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is the fifth best in the NFL. That is an average of 15.3 points per game. Do yourself a favor and bench Geno Smith this week. You're welcome. Next, I have Chase Brown, who goes up against the Patriots rushing defense. They're still the best in the league and have only allowed 105 fantasy points to running backs. That is an average of 9.5 fantasy points per game. This is just not a great matchup for Chase Brown, so I'd look elsewhere for a better start. Next, I have Alec Pierce, who goes up against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who has allowed 146 fantasy points to wide receivers, which is the third best in the NFL. That is an average of 14.6 points per game. So I really don't love Alec Pierce's matchup this week, and I'm benching him. Lastly, Jake Ferguson goes up against the Birds this week, and the Eagles have allowed only 30 fantasy points to tight ends, which is the second best in the league and an average of 3 points per game. As hard as it is to hear for Jake Ferguson owners, you're going to want to bench him here in week 12. So those are the guys I have to sit. Yeah.
Turd Ferguson. Sit this week. Excellent. Hey, real quick before I get to my sits, Matt. I want to give a big shout out to our cousin Georgie. He listens all the way out there in Colorado. He's a big fan of the show, and he's getting married to the beautiful Kate, who we got to meet, and we're real excited for them too. And Georgie, we're going to give it to you straight this week. Make sure you get your fantasy wins for sure. So my big sit of the week, Sam Darnold going up against the Titans. Fact of the matter is, the last 3 out of 4 games, Darnold has not hit double-digit fantasy points. So, again, I've been saying it for weeks now. Darnold, I think it all depends. He's very matchup dependent, right? Listen, last week he played the Rams. He put up 279 yards passing, 4 interceptions. Okay, so this week he goes up against the Titans. They're very tough against the pass, and as I repeat and repeat and repeat, he's very matchup dependent. Titans are a very tough matchup against the pass. So to me, you got to sit Darnold. We go to the New York Football Giants. And sadly, my buddy Jeff isn't here. Of course, he'd be upset to hear this, but you got to sit both running backs for the Giants. That's Singletary and Tyrone Tracy. They play the Lions, who allow the fewest fantasy points to the running back position. They just held Saquon Barkley to 3.2 yards a carry. So the fact that they're both splitting time and the Lions are great against the run, I think you can't start either one of them. Now, look, there's 4 teams on a bye this week. You may be forced to start one. If I was, if a gun to my head, I'd probably go Singletary only because he seems to get the goal line carries and the touchdowns. Although Tracy looked better last week. Again, hopefully you have a better option at running back. Definitely, neither one should be in DFS lineups this week. I also have Xavier Worthy versus the Colts. He has failed to hit 8 fantasy points the last 4 weeks. He is very inconsistent. Hopefully, you have a better option here at the wide receiver position. It seems like when Rashee Rice came into the picture, Worthy became very secondary, especially to Patty Mahomes. Right? It seems to be Rice and it's Kelsey. Right? So Xavier Worthy's getting like 2, 3 catches and 8 fantasy points. That's not going to get it done. Finally, Cade Rotten, Cade Rotten. We like to call him Cade Rotten. He's going up against the Rams. Listen, he's been awesome weeks 5 through 10 with at least 12 fantasy points a game, right? But last week, he had just 2 catches for 28 yards. So, and that was against the Bills, and the Bills' defense is the worst, right? So this week he has the Rams, who are very tough against the pass. Again, they just had 4 interceptions last week. In my opinion, the Bucks. This game is going to be all the ground game. If they're going to have any shot of winning, it's going to be on the ground. And you need a better option at the tight end position this week, Matt. That's what I got.
All right. I don't know. I don't like that Darnold pick. I like Darnold against the Titans there. I think he does pretty well.
It's on the road, right? He's not home, and if Titans have done anything well, it is against the pass. And coming off a 4 interception game, I don't trust them.
I think he's middle of the Titans against the quarterback are middle of the pack. So I think not only do the Seahawks win, I think Sam Darnold has a decent game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll have to have a water bet on that.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
All right, before we get into our world famous Dude, I'm Sorry segment, you are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you're also listening to us here live on YouTube. All right, I'll start it off. Last week, I told you to start Justin Herbert, who had 81 yards passing. I told you to start Jalen Warren, who got hurt. I told you to start Jordan Addison, who had 2 catches for 20 yards and a touchdown. And for that, all of that, I'm so sorry. Just didn't work out for me this week. Can I control Warren getting hurt? No, I can't control any of this, actually. But the guys I told you to start really just didn't hit the mark there. But I did tell you to sit Breece Hall last week, who only had 58 yards rushing. So at least I helped you in that decision making. Commission, what do you got?
Well, listen. Last week, Matt, I touted my long shot, right? Unfortunately, my long shot was shot out. That was Tyler Lockett. I really liked him, especially because he was playing the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, the Geno Smith connection, the whole thing. And as I watched that game, I was reminded just how bad the Raiders really are. They're absolutely terrible. Uh, he ends up with 3 catches for 33 yards. For this dude, I am sorry. All right. On a good note, though, I totally called out Jamison Williams against my beloved Birds. I said Adoree Jackson will be on him. I said he will be peppered. And what does he do? 4 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. He was the only bright note on the whole Detroit Lions side of the ball, in my opinion. I also told you to pick up Sean Tucker. Right? 19 carries for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 2 catches for 34 yards and a touchdown. So, listen, my long shot didn't come through, but I gave you some really big ones to hopefully propel you to a big victory last week. And I got some really great ones coming up for you today. As I already mentioned, my stardoms. I also got some great waiver wire pickups as we get on later in the show.
All right, let's move into the DFS lineups of the week. I'll go ahead there. All right, so this week for my DFS lineup, I have Sam Darnold, who we talked about earlier, against those
Got to
Titans
change that one.
at 5,400. I can't change
I'm
that.
telling you.
I
I'm
can't do
telling you.
that. No, why would I do that? Sam Darnold, 5,400 against the Titans. I think it's a good price for him. I'm going with Sam Darnold. At running back, I have Travion Henderson, 6,700 against the piss poor Bengals defense. I think Henderson will have a great game, so I have him. My second running back is Alvin Kamara, who I talked about earlier. He plays against that Falcons defense at 5,500. I think it's a bargain, so I'm going with Kamara there. At wide receiver, I have Rome Odunze, 6,100 versus the Steelers. I think the Steelers' pass defense just isn't that great, and I think Rome Odunze just hasn't been getting that volume that he was getting in the beginning of the year, and I think he comes back with a vengeance. Next up, I have Jameson Williams at 5,700 against the New York Football Giants. Like the commissioner said, JMO just seems to be back, and I'm happy because I'm a JMO owner, and it's been a very frustrating year because I think everyone in the fantasy community was so on him this season before the season started, and it was disappointing because he just wasn't hitting the mark as he we thought he was going to have the Amon-Ra St. Brown role, and that's just not what happened. So I have JMO there. My third wide receiver is AJ Brown at 5,900 against the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said earlier, I think AJ Brown and obviously Devon Smith, I think they're going to have great games. So I have AJ Brown. My tight end is who the commission talked about earlier, Hunter Henry at 3,900 against the bad, terrible Cincinnati Bengals defense. They are the best. They're the worst defense against the tight end there. So I think Henry can surprise people there. And at flex, I have Rashee Rice, 7,700 against the Colts. I think that's just I had a lot of money there to save up for my flex there, so I went with Rice. And for my defense, give me the Birds at 3,000 against that Dallas offense. The Eagles are on fire right now defensively, so I'm going with them. And yeah, that's my lineup. Hopefully, you enter it in some contests and win a couple dollars. Commish, what do you got?
Man, Matt, you've been on fire. I mean, you're generally one or two every week. So everyone, hopefully, you listened up to what he puts down. He's pretty good at this DFS stuff. Um, but I think I got you this week, Matt. I feel like I put a team together that will crush you, and I'm just apologizing up front for crushing you. There we go. Uh, at quarterback, I'll go Jared Goff. 6,000. He's at home. He's against the New York Football Giants, who are terrible, right? Goff gets it done this week. He bounces back with a big game and excellent start at quarterback on your DFS lineup. I'm going to go Derrick Henry. He's also at home against the Jets. The Jets who just traded away all their defense, right? This game is going to be a pound out game. Lamar probably lights it up for a little bit of fireworks, and then they just drown him with Henry at 7,600. It's an absolute steal deal on DFS. I talked about him earlier. I talked about him last week. Sean Tucker, right? It's 5,500. He's going up against the Rams. It's a Sunday night game, and Sean Tucker, I think, will continue to be the hot hand and put up some good fantasy points for you this week for sure. Matt touched on it, right? About the Birds, and they're going up against Dallas, who's terrible against the pass. I got AJ Brown. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease at 5,900. I think he's way mispriced here. I understand why he's priced there because of his lack of production. But listen, this week and the upcoming weeks, the Eagles have a great schedule for the wide receivers. AJ Brown really I think as long as Kevin Petula gives him some good reps to run, I think we'll put up some big numbers for sure. Now, Jared Goff has to throw the ball to somebody, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown is the guy he likes to throw the ball to. 8,000. I think this is a slam dunk. This is double touchdowns. Goff to Amon-Ra. Could happen once, could happen twice. Dare I say 3 times? I don't know. But excellent, excellent choice at wide receiver. And I talked about him earlier already, Michael Wilson, right? He's gone up against the Jags. He's at home. At home is a very big deal. He's only priced at 4,800. Okay. And Harrison, he's out with the appendectomy. Who does Brissett like to throw the ball to? Michael Wilson. I think we found that out. I agree with Matt. Hunter Henry at the tight end is the slam start at the tight end. He's due, right? 3,900 going up against Cincinnati, who's the absolute worst against the tight end. You got to have Hunter Henry in your DFS lineup for sure. I guess he's going to be a chalky play. He's going to be more for cash plays, maybe not so much for tournament plays. So you pick your poison. My flex, I'm going Manny Wilson at 5,300. He's home again. Okay, I love the home picks. Josh Jacobs is week to week. He may not play. Now, if he plays, I'm probably going to take Wilson out. So you got to watch that injury report on Sunday. It looks like they play 1 o'clock. Okay, so if they held him out this week, because they're playing at home against Minnesota, they probably will. Wilson, I think, steps in there and does a really good job at 5,300. An absolute great start at the flex. And finally, I'm going back to the well with the Browns. The Browns are against the horrible Raiders at 2,900. And listen, we watched the Raiders. I say they're horrible. They're not a good football team. How this whole coaching staff is put together, I question everything, how bad that they're playing. So yeah, Browns I think is a great for 2,900. It's such a deal, right? So make sure you get that in your lineup. That's my DFS start of the week. And Matt, once again, I think I got you this week, buddy.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, I read somewhere that like Chip Kelly's making upwards of $6 million or something, and
That's crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
Raiders are just not a good team right now. So
Silly. Very silly.
yeah, all right. Let's move along to sleepers and long shots. This week, I guess it's more of a sleeper this week for me. I'm going with Kyle Pitts, simply because of the injury in Drake London. Apparently, Pitts got targeted 8 times, and more with Kirk Cousins. So hopefully, Kyle Pitts gets more volume with Cousins in the next coming weeks. Kamish, what do you have?
I actually have a sleeper and a long shot. I got two. Okay. I went a little crazy this week. All right. The names were so intriguing, I had to put both. Okay. So my sleeper, I'm going Jacoby Brissett. He just set an NFL record for 47 pass completions. That's insane, right? He faces the Jags, who give up 274 passing yards a game, along with close to about 3 passing touchdowns a game. So even without Harrison in there, Brissett, I think, is an awesome start. I think a great sleeper pick, and I think this is a guy I think that we'll be talking about next week. And I gave him to you, you won, send letters. That's fine. Now my long shot of the week. Okay, I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, Matt. Kadarl Hodge. Okay, Kadarl Hodge. He's a wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Looks like the Drake will miss at least this week. Um, and we all know Kirk Cousins is in there, right? He did give Cousins gave Hodge 8 targets last week. So, for my long shot, I like this guy Hodge. He plays the Saints this week, who are ranked 23rd versus giving up passing touchdowns in the league. So, dare I say, Hodge may find the end zone as long as Kirky Cousins can figure some stuff out with all the $100 million that he's getting paid to get him the ball. So there you go. There's my sleeper and my long shot.
Wow, it's a Cardaro Hodge, not Cadaro. It's Daryl. Remember that?
Right. Great stuff.
All right.
Great stuff.
We will continue on with the show here and start with the main event, waiver wire pickups. This is a
Yes.
big week. We're chiming down. We're getting close to the playoffs. So
Yeah.
here we go. This week I have Bayshaw Tootin. Now I know he got hurt, but from what I've read, he's okay. So hopefully that's the case. He is available in 81.5% of ESPN leagues. I also have Kenny Gainwell. He's available in 57.8% of ESPN leagues. Darnell Mooney, available in 63% of ESPN leagues. And I also threw in Brock Purdy, available in 38% of ESPN leagues. And two defenses I like this week are the Ravens, 28.2% available, so that's tougher. And same as the Lions, 20.1% available in ESPN leagues. So those are some guys I think that are worth picking up right now. What do you think, Kamish?
Man, I think you put some great names on there. I really like the Bayshell Tootin pickup. I missed that one. That is a great pickup for sure this week. Listen, I've already mentioned him several times in the show. Listen, if he's available, and I think he's available in a lot of leagues, I didn't look up what the percentages are. Matt, that's all Matt likes to do. But Michael Wilson has to be picked up this week with Harrison out, Brissett playing out of his mind. He's a pick him up and start him kind of player for sure. I also kind of mentioned him earlier too. Manny Wilson, Josh Jacobs week to week with the knee. I see him getting 18 to 20 touches since the Packers really like to rely on the run game. They play the Vikings this week, who allow the eighth most rushing yards to the running back the last 4 weeks. So Manny Wilson is a big pickup. I think you spend a bunch of your fab on him, especially if you're on the fence about making the playoffs or not. This is a guy that maybe I would push over the edge, or maybe help you get you through the bye week this week, right? Sean Tucker, another guy. Of course, I keep mentioning him. You pick him up and you start him. I mean, we've been talking for weeks now that running backs are at such a premium. There's just not a lot of running backs out. There's a gajillion wide receivers, not a lot of running backs. But I'm giving you a few here. Matter of fact, I have another one to give you. Chris Rodriguez, another running back, seems to be a better lead back than Bill. Okay, I've been saying Bill's as you guys call him a jag. He's just a guy. He has two juicy matchups coming. He's got the Giants, and he's got Dallas coming up. Right? I think they're on a bye this week. Right? Commanders. Right. So after that, you got two juicy matchups. So you pick them up now before there's a big run on them next week, if you have room in your lineup to do it. And finally, I got to go Brenton Strange. Should be back off IR this week. With 19 catches his first 4 weeks before the injury, he was right there with Brock Bowers and Tyler Warren. Right. So Brenton Strange could, especially with all the injuries the Jags have, could come in and make a nice instant impact. And if guys didn't waste a IR spot on him because he's a tight end, he should be available to be picked up. And if you need a strong tight end to just plug right in and get you some points, Brenton Strange is definitely the way to go. So hopefully all this kind of helped you guys get something going this week, right? As Matt said, playoffs are coming, and you got to get your team in the winning posture.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, Chris Rodriguez. It's not a bad. It's not the worst name. I thought I heard, because I heard the Commanders have a good playoff schedule for running backs. So
Right.
You just never know.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to buy low, sell high. Kamish, you got a lot of players to talk about. What do you got?
I do. Listen, I think I talked about him last week. I'm going to talk about him again. Jackson Dart. He should be back this week off the concussion. This guy is. It doesn't matter who he's playing. This guy just scores fantasy points, right? Doesn't matter what receivers are out there. This guy runs, he scores, he just makes it happen, and he really ignites that team in a great way. So now's a great time to buy low on him because I'm sure you have some disgruntled people out there that have him. So that's a guy to go after. I mentioned him before. I had to bring him up again. Trey Benson. I think we had a caller last week talking about trading for Trey. I said absolutely. He should be back off IR this week. And Arizona's backfield's an absolute mess, right? We were talking about DeMarcado last week, and then it was the other kid that ended up Bam Knight did some stuff. They both stink. Okay, Trey Benson's the real deal. Um, this is a guy you buy low on, plug and play, right? You trade for him. You give up a couple beans and you get yourself a Trey Benson and you laugh through the playoffs to the championship. I also have Stephon Diggs. He's quietly having a great uh, he's had kind of having great production. He has a favorable schedule moving forward. Uh, Diggs is somebody who's probably not someone's WR1 or WR2 on a lot of teams. It's a guy you might be able to pry away from somebody who is in need. If you're heavy at maybe running back or tight end or something like that, maybe you make a nice trade to get yourself Diggs, and I think you go pretty far in your playoffs. And finally, I have Jacoby Myers. Listen, he caught 5 of 6 targets on Sunday. Should be a top 20 wide receiver moving forward, even with Brian Thomas possibly coming back this week. I'm not sure, but Jacoby Myers, man, the guy's the real deal at wide receiver. So I think that was a great pickup for them, and I think it's a great pickup for us for fantasy. So if he's available out there to buy low on, now is the time to buy low on. That's why for my buy low.
All right. I forgot to mention that you were talking about Emmanuel Wilson
Yeah,
earlier in the waiver wire pickup.
yeah.
Someone already got him in my league for $75 in their fab. So keep that in mind when. And I don't even think he has Josh Jacobs. I think he just wanted him. So just
Wow.
keep that in mind. Like people are going to really want him. Yeah. So there's that. All right. My buy. So this week, since I checked this morning and I officially clinched the playoffs in one league. I
Nice.
am
Congratulations.
I am 9-2,
Wow. Wow.
and since because of that, I decided to look ahead because the trade deadline is most likely next week in your league, right before either before or after Thanksgiving. So what I did, I went and I looked ahead this week at running backs playoff schedules and who's are the best and who's are you're going to want on your team. You're going to want to go and trade them, trade for them this before the trade deadline, and that is Bucky Irving, Devin Achan, Travion Henderson, Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara. Those are the best five that I saw that have excellent running back schedules in the playoffs. So those are my buy low guys this week. I think it'll probably be easier to go and get guys like Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara now, Bucky Irving, especially since he's been hurt. It'll be tougher to get a Chan and Henderson because they've been doing so well this year. But there's also guys that you're going to want to trade away. Now, these are the bottom five that I saw, which there was my sell high: R.J. Harvey, Brees Hall, James Cook III, Jameer Gibbs, Jalen Warren. They play really tough defenses against the run in the playoffs this season, and it might cost you. It might cost you a championship. So, as much as I love James Cook, I might have to part ways with him if I'm
Wow.
really.
You are a big JC3
I love
fan. Yeah.
JC3. That's my boy, and I also like to win. So
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you have to really put your brain to it. Another one, surprisingly, I didn't write him down. I took him off, but was Jonathan Taylor. But I'm convinced Jonathan Taylor's kind of matchup proof. But
Yeah.
will that? Am I right about that? Am I wrong about that? Like, I I think he's one of the best. Obviously, in the rushing aspect, yes. But like, you also have to think that these guys like Cook, Gibbs, Warren, Brees Hall, RJ Harvey, they also get catches in the games too. So
Right.
that's also an important part of running backs, because a target is more points than it's rushing attempt, I believe is the correct terminology in fantasy. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I mean, we'll see for sure. I mean, but it's something you're going to want to think about these next within this next week or so, because even though I'm 9-2 in that league, like, my running backs are Jameer Gibbs and Josh Jacobs. Obviously, Jacobs just got hurt, and Gibbs just I mean, he actually he had a decent game against the Eagles, but um, if Gibbs, doesn't perform in that first playoff game and I lose because of that, I'm not going to be happy. So,
Right.
like, I think it's important to think about maybe trade. I mean, and it's not that you have to trade Gibbs; it's just that he might not perform as highly than we think, because of those matchups. And I think he plays the Vikings soon. So anyway,
Right.
those are my buy low, sell high this week. And
I
yeah,
have a couple. I have a couple sell high guys for you this week, Matt. First one's got to be Bryce Young, right? Played out of his mind, coming off a game he just put up 448 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on 45 attempts, right? So you're thinking, Kamish, why would you sell on Bryce Young? He just crushed it. Well, the number that I'm paying attention to is the 45 attempts. Prior to this game, he hasn't had more than 35 pass attempts. So he hasn't had the ability to even put up those kind of yards. And I don't see them going to 45 attempts weekly. I just I just don't. I don't think they trust him enough. So I think you take this opportunity to sell him right now and get yourself somebody that me or you already put out to buy low on to help you propel you through a championship. Right? These are the opportunities I think you need to look for to help you, really mold and shape your team into a championship contender. And also, I think I had him on here before, but Debo Samuel had an awesome game Sunday night, 7 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Now, look, he is on a bye this week, but here's the thing: after the bye, McLaurin is back, and they face one of the tougher defenses defensive schedule versus the pass after the bye. So you have the fact that McLaurin's back, so he's going to take some of those targets away, and plus if he's got stiffer competition up against him, like for instance, I know he plays the Birds probably in one of those games in the playoffs. The Birds just shut down everybody. It's just it's crazy, right? So these are guys I would look for you to sell now while you can and get something good back. Look at those playoff matchups, like Matt's already starting to do, right? Who has the favorable matchups, and I think they're the guys you want to target in the sell high segments that we're when we talk about them for sure.
um, yeah. The one that seemed the best schedule was Devin Achan. So there's something that's someone that you might want to go and target this next week or so. We got a whole bunch of questions in chat here.
Oh wow, okay.
Jason's been watching, been dying to ask him a couple of questions here. So he has to start one this week. Brock Purdy, Jacoby Brissett, or Trevor Lawrence. He's got Bo Nix on a bye. So do I, Jason. And who's better ROS? Bo Nix
All right,
or
so you have Purdy. I mean, I love Purdy.
Purdy?
He's just a beast. I mean, him coming back in, it's just a whole different thing, right? So Purdy goes up against. First of all, Purdy's playing home Monday Night Football against the Panthers. Okay, I'm already leaning Purdy all day long. Lawrence, I don't trust. I just don't trust him. Now, Brissett is someone we got to take a look at just because he just set an NFL record for completions, right? So let's see. The Arizona Cardinals, who the heck are they? Oh, they're playing the Jags. They have and they're home, and they have a really good matchup. Here's the thing. I'm going Purdy. I've loved Purdy in before the season started. I love his schedule, um, and he has the weapons. Right, Pearsall's back. Jennings is balling out. Kittle's balling out right now. You have Christian McCaffrey. So to me, it's Purdy all day. Now, then he has the thing here, Bo Nix, right? Denver. I don't know. Bo Nix. I think he's too up and down for me.
Well,
Right.
okay, that's fair to say. But he's
So,
saying who's better the rest of the way, Knicks or
oh,
Purdy?
Purdy all day long.
Okay,
Purdy.
so you're
Purdy's
saying
schedule is awesome.
right.
So, I think Purdy's the way to go for sure.
Just looking at one last thing. Yeah, I mean, I think as of right now, I don't. As funny as this sounds, I don't even think Trevor Lawrence is even in the contention there. Um,
Yeah.
he's just been so inconsistent,
Right.
especially with the injuries.
Yeah.
I
Too
would
many
have to
injuries.
go with Brock Purdy this week. Um, I would have to look at the schedule for the rest of the way between Knicks and Purdy. Um, I mean, whoever has the best schedule is probably going to do better. Let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, the Broncos are an interesting team because I feel like their defense is definitely bailing them out of have a lot of wins so far. Um,
Right.
their coach is great, so there's that. But I don't know. I feel like fantasy wise, I don't even know where Bo Nix is right now. Like I own him, and I don't even know how high or how low he is. But I
I
would.
mean, the only one I just looked ahead a little bit.
Mhm.
Week the following week, Bo Nix has a nice matchup
Okay.
against the Commanders,
Okay.
and Purdy goes up against the Browns. The Browns got a pretty damn good defense.
Hmm.
That might be one week, but I think after that, oh, then after that, I think the Niners have a bye.
Oh, okay. That sounds
Yeah,
right.
right. And
There is a
then
late
at
buy.
15, 16, 17, I mean, you got Titans at Niners are at home. Then you got the Colts. That's going to be that's a Monday night game too. That's going to be a back and forth kind of game.
Mhm.
And then championship week, you're looking at who are they playing? Bears. I mean, they stink
Right.
defensively, I think, right? So,
All right. Well, he's got a whole bunch of other questions. Let's keep it
all right,
going.
let's go. What
All
else you
right.
got?
So he says my bench is Vidal. Don't want to drop till Hampton comes back. I guess. Wrong
Right.
guy. He has a role. White. Right. Bucky will be coming back. Tony Pollard. Should I
Pollard's
drop
terrible.
Rashad White and or Tony Pollard for Emmanuel Wilson, Gainwell to Knight?
I would
Yes.
drop. I
I
would
would
drop
drop either of
White.
them probably.
Yeah, either one, but White only because
White
you got
maybe,
Tucker.
but
You
Tucker,
have
yeah,
Tucker
Tucker's
there,
just been he's been
right?
balling. So I think
Yeah.
that
So
one's
I'm dropping White
yeah.
for sure on
I would
that one.
drop Pollard and definitely
Oh,
drop
now
Pollard.
was or wait, for Emmanuel Wilson, Gainwell.
Yeah,
Oh, and
Gainwell
Tootin.
or
Oh, I would drop White and Pollard and try to
yeah, that's
get
what I'm trying to say.
Wilson for sure. I really like Gainwell because we don't know about this Warren situation, right?
Well,
Gainwell
he
might be
got
pretty good.
hurt.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, Warren got hurt, right?
Right, he got hurt, and Tune looked pretty good. Knight, forget about it. He's terrible. But I think you have it lined up right. It's Wilson 1, Gainwell 2, Tune 3. I think that's how I'm seeing it.
Hmm. All right. Next up, we got start two this week. Wandale Robinson, Khalil Shakir, Sticky Ricky, aka Ricky Pearsall. I'm assuming might have Purdy if I win in waivers. Okay.
Well, if you can get
Who do
Pearsall,
the Giants play?
let's
They
see.
play the Bang. No, they play. I don't remember who they play.
Giants play the
Lions.
Lions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, Wandell actually should be okay there. Really. But let's see who the Bills have, right? The
Robinson.
Bills with Shakir. go up against the Texans. And they
Oh,
play
right. That's
Thursday
Thursday night
night.
football. Don't love
Yeah,
that. Never liked
don't love the
Thursday night
Thursday night
football.
football thing. And Texans are actually decent against the pass. So
Pearsall.
I'm going Wandell and Ricky Pearsall.
I think I'm going. I don't know. It is also Monday Night Football though for
Right.
Purdy. I
Right.
would consider Wandale and Shakir honestly
Not Pearsall,
because
huh?
I think you just. I mean, as much as I don't love Thursday Night Football, you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah, I would. That one's tougher, but I think I would go Wandale for sure, and then take your pick at either Shakir or Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. All right.
What do we got here? Number one kicker's on a bye. Is he worth holding on to instead of drop?
No, it's not worth holding any kicker.
I'll have to drop Pollard.
No. Drop kicker for a kicker. You're way overthinking it. Trust me. Way
Yeah, your
overthinking it.
kickers are supposed to, not score your points.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
All right. Who has a better shot of coming back? JDS, Jaden Daniels, or Joe Burrow?
Wow. Probably.
I would probably
Daniels.
say Burrow.
Really, over Daniels?
Yeah, I heard he's coming back very soon. So
Yeah, but I think it depends on how many wins they have, right? I mean, JD's packs the seats. I think it's on.
yeah, so does Joe Burrow. What are you talking about? He's the
Yeah,
number
but
one quarterback taken.
Yeah, but look how well the backup.
Look how well Jaden the Commanders are.
No, I'm talking about Flacco, right?
No, we're talking about Joe. Who has a better shot to coming back?
Come back, right? So I wouldn't. I would keep Joe Burrow on the bench the rest of the year if I'm the owner. I guess again, it depends on how many wins
I
they
think
have.
Joe Burrow has a better shot of coming back
Really?
than Jaden Daniels.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it from the fantasy insider, Matt.
All right.
All right.
Since it's handcuff season, which are the three best? Blake Corum, Brian Robinson, Bashal Tootin. I'm assuming he meant Stevenson, Manuel Wilson, Pacheco, Bam Knight. Also, I have DJ Moore on my bench. Is he droppable to get four of those guys? DJ Moore is very frustrating.
Yeah, DJ Moore is really tough, man.
I don't
I mean,
think
as
I
far
would
as
drop him, right?
handcuffs, Manny Wilson obviously right now is the best one.
I don't like Blake
right?
Corum. I like Brian
I
Robinson.
actually do. He's actually been
I like
doing okay.
Stevenson is meh, and then Emmanuel Wilson, I would like him, and then
Manny and probably Tootin.
Pacheco is meh,
He's
and Knight
hurt
is meh.
last week.
So I guess I'm
Van Knight's
going Brian
shot out.
Robinson, Tootin, and Emmanuel Wilson. Those are my three guys.
There you
go. Yeah. So there you go.
Right.
Start one this week, Shakir or DJ Moore. We said, okay, so the Bills play the Texans and the Bears play the
Bears are at home against the Steelers. And Steelers you could do some
pass on the Steelers.
Yeah, because you figure Porter's going to be on the Doomsday, you would think.
Right.
So which this should be a no-brainer. That's DJ freaking Moore, but he's so tough to trust. I would actually give him one late shot. I just don't like Shakir against the Texans. I just don't. I would give him
I probably would lean more Shakir, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that one's
We're
tough.
torn on that one. Sorry about that.
All right. Should I drop Dak? What? No, do not drop Dak or Daniel Jones or drop one of my handcuff of Corum.
No.
Algier. Need to pick up a wide receiver this week. I usually choose
quarter. I like Jones too. I have Jones in several leagues
because Dak needs to throw the ball most of the time.
Yeah, but Jones is just getting it done. He's so consistent every week, man. He's so consistent.
Drop one.
Look, Dak plays the Birds this week. Dak shut out. No way. Danny Dimes.
If you need to pick up a wide receiver this week, don't drop those guys.
No.
Corum, Algier, maybe I would drop Algier. I don't know. All right, this is the last one. Okay. Start two this week. Chris Godwin. I don't even know if he's playing football.
Right.
Mooney.
He might be back this week, actually.
Oh, okay.
Mooney has a broken collarbone. Yeah.
Right. What? Wait, Darnell Mooney?
Yeah, Darnell
He
Mooney.
broke
Yeah, I
his
saw that.
collarbone.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Shepard.
Sterling Shepard, Yoshi
Right.
Vash, Alec
I like
Iomanner,
Leggett.
Jalen
Oh,
Coker,
Judy. I
Xavier
like Judy.
Leggett, Cedric
If
Tillman,
Godwin's playing, I'd have to take a
Xavier
long look at that
Onwuchekwa,
one.
Taylor
But I
Staley.
like Leggett and Judy
Gross.
on this.
That's the wrong there.
Gross.
THEY''RE. I just want 10 points.
Judy has a great matchup this week, doesn't he?
I
It's the
would like, yeah, I would
Browns.
start Judy.
Browns against the Raiders. You got to
Yeah,
go
I
Judy.
would start Judy.
And Leggett's actually been getting it
I
done.
don't know. I don't trust Leggett. Dare I say, listen, I'm not, this is just off the top of my brain. I would do more research, but Iomanner, yeah, but that's the thing. Is he going to catch?
Listen,
Play the Seahawks.
Leggett's playing the Niners. Niners defense, they're just shot. So,
yeah,
and it's
they're all
Monday
bad.
Night Football.
Honestly, you might as
It's
well.
Leggett and Judy, I'm telling you.
I wouldn't be surprised if I would just do Tillman and Judy because Tillman caught some balls last week.
You going to start two guys on the same team? No way.
I would consider it. I mean, with the rest of this Drek, like Yoshi Vash, I'm not sorry.
Well,
Sterling Shepard, no. Iomanner, probably not.
Before I would do that, I would really look at Godwin. Godwin and Judy.
Depending
for
if
sure.
Godwin comes back, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if Godwin comes back, it would be Godwin and Judy.
Even if he does come back, is he going to do anything? Probably not. Mooney, broken collarbone, he's shot out.
Right.
Shepard, no thank you. Yoshi Vash, maybe he's you never know. Watch him.
Well, maybe because if Chase is out,
maybe
right, with the suspension,
but
maybe I don't know. Tough to trust.
That's tough. I would say that's tough. Just start Judy and then pick another guy. That's all right, Jason. Thank you so much for your questions.
Yeah, man, that's great stuff.
All right, why don't we go and do this? I gotta click this. Why don't I'll pull up some who to start, guys, just like we did.
Hey, I do have some streamer defenses for you.
Okay, all right. Did you already, other than the Ravens and the Lions?
Yeah.
Actually. Okay, talk to me.
I have the Jags against Arizona. It's not a bad streamer. We already kind of talked about the Browns, like in DFS. That's a great defensive start this week against the Raiders, and actually, the Saints against Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's terrible, right? You have Kirky Cousins throwing the ball, so Saints is actually now in consideration. So, it's a few.
I thought you said the Jags play Atlanta.
No, Arizona
plays Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, Arizona plays Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. So,
gotcha.
And then the Saints play Atlanta.
Saints play Atlanta. All right.
Some possible stars there, and then I have some couple kickers. I don't know. Jake Elliott, who, man, I saw that wind last night, and I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be a go for two all night, and he ends up having a game because I started him last night, and it actually worked out for me. He actually kicked the ball well, so he's certainly a great kicker to have. Like Jason was talking about, hold on to the kicker on a bye. No, go pick up Jake Elliott. You're not losing anything. Cairo Santos, he's actually been kicking the ball.
There's plenty of kickers out there. You don't need to. You don't need to hold a kicker. It's not worth it. It's not worth the stress.
Even if it's Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, like I honestly thought that's what he meant because he did say, or no, that can't be what he meant because Dallas isn't off, right? Yeah, we played Dallas.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, he's talking about Dicker the kicker.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I guess maybe I don't know.
Something like that.
He said
whatever.
The number one.
Whatever it was,
whoever you're talking about.
You only hold one kicker all year. When you draft, you only draft one kicker. And that's it. There's always a kicker.
And then when there's all right. All right. To close out the show, who would you start? Christian Watson, who I know you love, or Michael Wilson?
Wow. This week, I probably go Michael Wilson, only because Christian Watson, who's clearly the big target for Jordan Love. There's still other guys to throw the ball to. right? Savion's there, Golden's back, Dobbs is there. There's so many different targets there. That's why I would lean Wilson this week only, but I would go Wilson. Yeah.
What about Michael Wilson or Emmanuel Wilson? The Wilsons.
Oh wow, I would go Manny Wilson for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Emmanuel Wilson or Sean Tucker?
Wow, I will still go Manny Wilson because I think he's going to get 18 to 20 touches, and I don't know if Tucker gets that because let's say Bucky comes back, he'll steal a few
The
carries.
Bucks play the Rams. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Joe Flacco or Jacoby Brissett?
Ooh. Man, I love Flacco so much because he's an old guy like me.
They play the
And,
Patriots.
Yeah, and
That's tough.
Pats are pretty good. So I probably wouldn't. I probably couldn't play Flacco. Sadly.
Right.
Right.
All right. That's going to do it here on the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Do you have anything to say before we leave?
No, man, Jeff. Let's have this baby. Let's go.
That's right. All right. I honestly don't have anything. I couldn't think of anything today for the sign off. So, all right, that'll be it for this
Listen,
one.
if you're not playing fantasy football, you're probably thinking, "What am I going to get for my white elephant gift?"
There you go. Have a good one.
All right.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at KAF Football.